reason staying alive. 12 minutes past 1. Lovely to have your company. My name's Alex. Nice to meet you. Oh, we know each other already. That's good. Okay, time for the big question of the day. The part of the programme where we get to the bottom of some of those things in life you've never quite understood. Maybe you take it for granted. Maybe you just assume that the answer you know is the right one. This week's question is inspired by the amazing Natalie Cassidy, who, if you've seen a new BBC documentary called Caring Matters, has taken a sojourn from the world of acting to actually train as a carer. And as part of that, she's gone back to school. Now, Natalie's only 42, but found returning to college, even at that age, a daunting experience. And I know when I was lecturing to mature students, as they are called, it was difficult. They have a life, and they also have their own ways of thinking, and sometimes they say their brain is full. Well, there's that old adage, isn't there? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. But how much of that is truth? Are our brains set, or can we learn later in life? I'm telling you, we have the best guest to talk about this right now. This is Dr Denise Taylor. She's a later life commentator and a writer, and she joins me now. Denise, what a delight to have you on the show today.
And thank you for inviting me.
And you became a doctor, Dr Denise Taylor, at the age of 64.
That's right. Yeah, and going back to university after like 30 years, it was like, can I do it? But I'm a psychologist, and I thought, if I keep on saying to myself, this is going to be difficult, what's going to happen? So it was like, I've got all these years of experience, and I've got more time now. And clearly, I did it.
So you can teach an old... Well, I mean, I wouldn't call you an old dog for a start, but you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, exactly. And I think often, when you were just saying about Natalie, I mean, we go into new situations, not just about learning. Any new situation, we think it's going to be scary. What if it doesn't work out? And our brain's looking for all these examples to justify that and go, like, you're right, it's not going to work out. But if we say, I'm looking forward to learning something new, and it might be a bit challenging, it might take me a bit longer, then we're more accepted. And there's something that psychologists often talk about, which is crystallised and fluid intelligence. And younger people often have more fluid intelligence. It's quicker and fast. But what you get as you get older is crystallised intelligence. And it might take longer, because in a way our heads are like overfull filing cabinets. But we've got all these different hooks, and we will get there. We just need to allow ourselves a little more time. And we've got more knowledge to build into something new.
So crystallised learning is a bit like gout. Only older people get it. Is that right?
Well, I suppose that's one way of thinking about it. But it's not how I would quite describe it.
No.
But it's as we get older, we are still, our brain, there's neuroplasticity, we can still be learning new things. We just need to allow ourselves and to accept that we can do it. Because the whole thing about getting older, which is my research areas, if you think you're too old and past it for anything, walking, taking up a new hobby, you're not going to do it. So it's, one of the things I always encourage people to do is like, try something new, be a bit more creative, be willing to fail. Think about those babies. They don't try and walk and fall over and think, well, I'm not going to do it again, do they? Everybody encourages them to keep doing it. And that's what we need to do in later life. It's like, that essay was hard, or I didn't quite get that concept. Hang on, let's just try it again.
But you see, the thing is, right, you are it's like, listen to you, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, because everything you say makes total sense. So really what you're saying is, most of this is a state of mind. We just assume we can't do it because we're knocking on a bit, whereas actually we have got the kit and caboodle to do it. We just need to have the mindset to do it.
And so much is that. And there's this other evidence that Professor Becca Levy said, that if you're optimistic, you're going to live for 7.5 years longer than if you've got a more negative attitude. Now,
wow.
obviously, you can't compare everything. People are different for different reasons, and we all know these curmudgeons who are still alive at 100. But I think if you have a fall, if you fall over and you trip, then you could be thinking, if you're at a certain age, I've had a fall, Whereas when you're 30, you're not saying, I've had a fall. It's just like, I fell over because I was clumsy. And so when I tripped, like I did yesterday, it was because I wasn't looking where I was going. It wasn't because, now I need a walking stick.
Yes, it's not your age, it's just kind of you tripped over something.
Yeah, quite. But our mind is so powerful with all these different things. So every time, I used to get clients to put elastic bands around their wrist, and every time they said something negative about themselves, you'd twang it and it'd hurt. And it was like, it was some sort of reinforcement. But they'd come back to me months later and go like, I'm still doing it, Denise, I've still got the elastic band.
Brilliant.
But you could do other things, you could pull your ear or just something to break the pattern of negative thought. This is easy stuff from psychology that anybody can do, and just start having a more positive and more optimistic view of stuff.
You see, I agree with you. I think the brain is such a powerful thing. At any age, if you think about it, even people who are experiencing dementia can still remember songs that they sang when they were 6. The brain is so phenomenally clever. But the trouble is, it's so clever that sometimes it tells us we can't do something. So can you, in the course of training your brain, can you train it to be more optimistic and more daring? And is that where the rubber band comes in and a bit of a twang every so often?
Yeah, it is. And I always remember somebody telling me something. Now, please be careful how I say this because I'm not swearing. But imagine there's a duck. A duck that's on water on your shoulder.
Yes.
And so every time you hear...
Sorry, my heart's not beating at the moment. I'm just wondering what's coming next.
Like, so every time you feel yourself saying something negative, you say, shut the duck up.
Yes, I get you.
Yeah.
Has anyone got an inhaler? Where's my inhaler? Do you also talk about the filing cabinet as well, and I totally get that because I think some people who are very close to me, my other half included, one of them, and certainly my other half, is learning a new language at the moment. And I have to say, I know, because I try to learn new languages, it's harder the older you get. And it feels like, and you just said it feels like the filing cabinet is full.
Yeah.
Can we make room in that filing cabinet? Because you can't forget something, can you? You can't chuck papers out.
No, but you can tidy it all up a bit. And one of the way we do that is, the whole thing about being more mindful, being more grounded, and just giving ourselves sort of a bit of peace. That will help, because that will just settle everything down. But I think it's also not feeling like you can everybody can learn everything, because I can't learn a foreign language and I can't learn a musical instrument. But I did go to improv classes in my 60s, and I'm now doing I'm doing other things that are new. I learned how to use a chainsaw a few years back.
Now you're terrifying me, Denise. Now you're terrifying me.
But there's things I can do, and I've just thought, I'm not the person that can learn a language. It's never come easy to me. Do I really want to put all this effort into doing it? No, I'd rather learn some more dance steps or learn an improv routine or something. So I think we can all choose, and some things will definitely be more difficult. If we had to learn something, then of course we can make ourselves do it. A bit like if somebody decides to go back to college to learn something, somebody might be great doing that as a motor mechanic, and somebody else might be far better to do it as a care worker, and somebody else might be far better to do it to learn about accountancy, because why struggle with something that's hard?
Oh, amen to that.
That's easier.
Get a Dr Denise in every school. This is absolutely wonderful. Now, there will be people listening now who are inspired. I'm inspired by you, but the others will be too. And they might sort of be in their late 50s, early 60s, maybe late 60s, early 70s. And they think, I'd love to learn something. Now, you got a PhD, you went and did a doctorate, but there are many other courses you can do. What recommendations would you give people if they'd like to try something new? Even if it's just to stretch their brain as they get older.
Okay, but what is it that fascinates you? Are you fascinated by ancient Greek history? Are you fascinated by really understanding how your body works? Are you interested in understanding more about climate change? First of all, you've got to be interested in something. And then you can decide at what level, because there's various online courses that you can do for free. You could go to local college, or you could, go to university. But what is it that fascinates me? And there's so much we can find out anyway, just looking online. So find something that interests you. And if it's really too hard, or it's not working for you for whatever reason, that's okay. You can put it to one side and go and look for something else. I would love to learn astrophysics, but it's like, I think I'm a lot easier. It would be easier for me to learn other things. So that might come when I'm 80.
I think the quick step would come easier, to be honest. I think the quick step might come easier. But it's interesting what you say, because what I guess what you're saying by a number of these things is the older we get, the more wise we become, and the more clear we are about the information that we want in our brain, let alone what we can take in. It's what we want there. And if you've got an interest in something, it's clearly going to make something a lot easier to learn.
Yeah. And now you're getting me onto my specialist topic, because I think for me, the ages of 60 to 80 is this absolutely wonderful stage of life where you can be doing the things you actually want to do rather than the things you felt like you've had to do in work. So often at this point, people are either stepping back completely from work or moving to part-time. And it's like, what is it that I really want to do? But even more important is, what is it that who do I really want to be in these next years of my life? And I've got a book coming out on Tuesday, if I can do a little plug for it.
Of course you can.
Called Thrive Span, Walking Gently into What Matters Now. And that's where I've taken 7 years of both academic knowledge and 7 years of being older to put things together in a really gentle way. It doesn't say anybody has to do anything, but it's very much about, well, what is it that will bring me joy, and what are the things that are going to help me to connect with other people, and what sort of legacy do I want to leave, but all in little ways. It's not making this massive thing, but what are some of the smaller things that I can do is just going to make my life better for me as I get older, including learning new things.
I think you are absolutely wonderful. Remind me of the name of the book again.
Thrive Span, Walking Gently into What Matters Now.
By Dr Denise Taylor. Denise, you have absolutely blown my mind. Congratulations, first of all. 64 and a PhD is sensational.
Yeah. And I'll be 70 next year now.
Are you? No.
Well, yeah, but I'm 68 now. But it's quite hard to believe that I'm going to be that age. But again, I don't think there's anything to be afraid of approaching 70. I mean, it might be when you get to 90, you start thinking I'm a bit frail now. But I truly am in my prime.
I love you. You're absolutely brilliant. Dr Denise Taylor, please come back and see us again sometime. I could listen to you all afternoon. In fact, actually, should we take this down the pub and we'll just have a carry on chat about this? That sounds like a really good idea, doesn't it? Dr Denise Taylor, go get her book, A Thrive Space. It's absolutely superb. What a brilliant guest. So you can teach an old dog new tricks. Woo! I knew you'd like it. Be free. Duran and Nile Rodgers and Free to Love. 1:32 is the time. We were chatting a few minutes ago to Dr Denise Taylor about the rather crassly titled, but you will get what I'm saying about you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Age is one of those things that is always, I find it very chewy talking about it, because you're all amazing. Roger in Bursledon, I just salute you for this. Right, listen to this. Talking about, can you teach an old dog new tricks? What awful way to describe it, but it's true. Hello, Alex. I've just been listening to your wonderful lady talking about ageing. To advocate what she says, pin back your lugs, team. This is incredible. I'm 77. I've just got 15 separate certificates in different AI programs. I'm now learning Chinese. He's 77. All those certificates and learning a foreign language. And not just any foreign language, Chinese. Roger in Bursledon. Hasten to add, by the way, Bursledon is where Howard's Way was filmed, and there is a brilliant pub in Bursledon